What's up, guys? Good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Welcome back to Roma Theory. Here we have it, our first here we go of the summer period. It's not a new signing. Well, technically it is because he was a free agent at the end of June. So technically we have to sign him again, but who cares about that? Paulo Dybala has extended his contract. Fabrizio Romano posted it, here we go. This is a done deal. We will speak about the details of this because they're interesting. I'm going to give you my opinion on this. I spoke a lot about Dybala's contract scenario over the course of the entire season. So you probably know my stance on this, but for new people, and of course to all of you guys here, I'm gonna give you my opinion on this. Moving forward, also looking at the details of this contract, which again have not been completely unleashed. We don't know, but we do have an idea of what this contract is like. I think we'll have an official statement in these next few days, potentially even tomorrow. My only question is whether the club will announce this contract extension alone, or whether they're going to wait for everyone to extend their contracts and then announce them all together. Because apparently Pellegrini and the Chilik are also going to extend their contract, as reported by reliable sources. But how are we doing, first of all? Well, thoughts on Argentina, Egypt, Luca says. We're gonna speak about the World Cup at the end, as always. I'm gonna give you my my World Cup talk. And we'll do predictions again. I'm sad to announce this, but nobody got the prediction game right for the what was it? The round of 16? No, it wasn't the round of 16. It was the round of 16, right? What was that? Round of 16? We did that prediction game where if anyone got every prediction right, I would have given you a ticket for a Roma game, but nobody got it right. And I got them wrong as well. So it's hard. Getting 16 out of 16. What was it? 12 out of 12? Can't remember. But nobody. I looked at the comments and nobody got the predictions right. Okay, let's speak about this because we're starting to see the first few things happen. It's been a very stagnant period, I think. We've already spoken about this. Gasperini spoke yesterday in a little interview at Sky Sports, and he also said how he's not worried because very little clubs in a summer with a World Cup anticipate signings. A lot of clubs wait for the World Cup to end for various different reasons. Also because the attention of the world of football is not on club football right now, it's on the World Cup. So I'm not, as I've already repeated many times, I'm not worried around the fact that we haven't really bought anyone and that we haven't really done much apart from these contract extensions, which are not even official. They are going to be official, but they're not yet official because Roma still hasn't released the official statement. But look, I've said this. I've said this many times about the transfer session. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the transfer session. I've become less attached to the transfer session because it's just things that you can't control. It's just things that you cannot control. So I feel like wasting your time on transfer sessions, maybe wasting your hope on transfer deals is just not worth it. Whatever happens. Whatever happens, I will react to, but I'm definitely going to waste my summer. Not going to waste my summer speaking about rumors after rumors because, it's things that you can't control, and ultimately it's things that, the only thing that matters is the here we go. If we're close, if we're not close to a player, I'm not massively interested in that. Of course, I have preferences on who I'd love Roma to buy, but again, that my preferences don't mean anything. So I can only react to what the club does. I can only give my opinion on the signings that we're gonna do, and this is the approach that I will carry into this summer. you're not going to see many videos. You're probably going to see some videos reacting to the Here We Goes, but not much. Not much else until the friendly games kickstart, until the season starts. This will be my approach to the transfer market. But yeah, we've got a first Here We Go. So we need to react to this. Paulo Dybala extending his contract. Again, as I said at the beginning, the exact numbers of this contract have not been released yet, but reliable sources are saying that this is a 1-year contract with an option of another year if he matches the criteria. And that criteria will probably be games played this season. If I had to put my bet on what that on how that extra year would trigger, it would probably be on games played. Again, this is a contract where Dybala has massively accepted to reduce his wages. And this, again, is another act of love, whether you like it or not. This is Dybala saying no to a lot of money in order to stay at this club which he's developed to love. Also because of the Champions League, of course. Now, you would probably, again, I don't think many clubs are interested in Dybala. I think Dybala's streets to follow were always going to be two. You extend with Roma or you go and play with Paredes at Boca Juniors. There weren't other scenarios, right? And I think for various different reasons, he wanted to stay because of the Champions League, because he loves this club, because look, even at the end of last season, I remember that interview after the Parma game, that crazy Parma game where we won it in the last minute with a Malen goal. I remember what Dybala said post-match. Dybala said, as of now, the club hasn't offered me a new contract. I'd love to stay, but it doesn't depend on me. And I said how that was kind of a way saying to the club, I want to stay. Now it's your turn to do something. And then with Gasperini's push, eventually the clubs came together and they came to an agreement. And Dybala is staying for another year with an option of another one. I think he's going to earn around 2.5 million as a base. And then bonuses will depend on objectives that we achieve next season and probably on games played. So after a tot of games, maybe his wage increases. Look, I'm happy. And I don't want to sound hypocritical because if you've been following this season, you will call me a hypocrite because I've always said how I didn't want to extend Dybala's contract because I think, apart from the games against Parma, against Verona, who thank God now is in the Serie B, I can't stand Verona, but like the Sassuolo games, Dybala doesn't change the dynamics anymore. A very fragile player who played very few games this season, and I still think that it's not like I would sound very hypocritical if I change my opinion all of a sudden just because we qualified for the Champions League. Of course, that changes. And I'm probably 100% convinced that if we were not playing in the Champions League, Dybala wouldn't have stayed. But I feel like at the end of the day, if he accepted a massive wage cut, if Gasperini really wanted him to stay, then it was a yes for me. My big doubt on this was always on the money side because Dybala is still, as I've always said, one of the most technically gifted players in the league. And look, I'm gonna stick with what I said. I still think that Dybala will always be an extra resource. But I still think, and I'm going to say it now, in case this happens again this summer, that building a team around him in 2026 is very dangerous. And that's despite his contract extension. That should not happen. What I mean by this is, now that Dybala stayed, that doesn't mean that you don't need to buy anybody in that side of the pitch. Because from what I've gathered, Sule will probably leave. So the Dybala extending his contract situation should not be dependent on Roma signing a player in that position. Because Dybala signed his contract, said no to a lot of money. I absolutely love it, but he will still get injured again. And this is the illusion that a lot of people still don't understand. You know, people still think that this was just an off season from Dybala in terms of games played. Next season he'll play every game. No, it's not. Dybala will still be very, 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 very injury prone. He will probably still play not more than 10 games. So you need to use him well this season. My point here is we need to stop using Dybala as a pivot to the team. You need to use him properly now. Okay? And that's, you know, that's my take on this. I'm happy that he extended his contract. I'm happy that he said no to a lot of money. I'm happy that he's staying also because he deserves to play the Champions League with us. Played a big part in that last rush last season. I look at that Verona game. He probably won us that game if you look at it. So I'm happy that he's staying. But this doesn't mean that now Dybala again will be the center of this team. Because otherwise, it's always making 2 steps forward and then making 3 steps backwards. You need to buy somebody very reliable up front on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. And also as a backup striker to Malen because Dovbyk will probably leave. So up front, you need to go big, regardless of who stays or not stays. Another example, Pellegrini extended his contract. Great, can't be a starter anymore. Gasperini wants him. Gasperini sees him as, you know, that ductile reserve, but he can no longer be a starting player. Otherwise, we're never going to grow. Despite the fact we've got the Champions League this season, I don't think that changes much. We've also been very lucky because we're in the Champions League. You know, it's not like we're in the Champions League because we fully dominated the league. No, we deserved it, but there's also a component of luck and other teams suiciding themselves. In any other season, I'm not sure we would have qualified for the Champions League. So things need to change. And what I want to see is that, you know, for instance, Pellegrini can no longer be a starter. Great sub, would be a great sub, but no longer be a starter. Okay? Same as Celik. Look, the Celik extension is the one I like the least. I reckon we did it because you don't want to lose him on a free, which makes sense. But for me, I don't like Celik. You know it very well. I think Celik is grants you minutes because he's never injured or very rarely, but he's not a good football player. So that's a limit. Again, Celik extended his contract. Great, can't be a starter. So this is my example on this. But I'm happy, and I'm happy that the manager is happy about this, and that most importantly, Paulo is happy himself, showing once again, after rejecting Saudi, a very rich Saudi bid a few years ago, that he said no to a lot of money this year to stay with us. So fair play to him, and the story continues. So that's my take on it. Okay, let's go through some comments. Luca asks thoughts on the Argentina. Okay, let's open the World Cup parenthesis. I know that a lot of people cried for a scandal yesterday in the Argentina-Egypt game. I'll be very honest with you. With my nation not being at the World Cup, this World Cup has been for me kind of a moment of relax. Just sit down and enjoy the game. So I haven't really been involved in, oh, that's a robbery, oh, Egypt got robbed, oh, Egypt didn't get robbed, oh, Croatia got robbed, because I couldn't give a shit. So I don't want to waste my energy going, Messi, what a scandal, of Argentina and all of these things. What I can say about that game is that the calls were definitely soft. For instance, that Martinez foul that then led to Egypt's second goal, which got disallowed. People will say that that's a foul. because it's a foul because he steps his foot. But I do think that it's a soft tackle. Like, how many of those don't get given? So I think that there's an element of favoritism. You can't hide that. Of course there is. If it happened vice versa, that goal would have never been disallowed. That's my point. But again, I'm not going to call it a robbery. Because at the end of the day, respect to Egypt, respect to Cape Verde, respect to all of these nations which literally honored this World Cup. But as a neutral, I'd rather see Argentina, Switzerland than Egypt, Switzerland. So I'm not mad that Argentina went through. I'm not mad that Messi went through. Again, I'll bore you with my answer on the Messi-Ronaldo dilemma, because my answer is both. And that's very boring, because it's like going, oh, you're so boring. But that's the truth. I mean, I don't understand why Ronaldo fans need to hate Messi and Messi fans need to hate Ronaldo. Just enjoy both. Just enjoy both and rest it out. That's my take. I like Ronaldo better in terms of, Ronaldo is my GOAT. I like Ronaldo more. I look to Ronaldo. I look up to him more than I do to Messi. But at the same time, I recognize that Messi had a better career than Ronaldo. Like, in terms of technical abilities, he's on a different level. So I recognize both sides. I like both. So I'm not mad. I think we've got good good quarterfinals in this World Cup. I really do. I have France going through against Morocco, and Spain going through against Belgium, and Argentina going through against Switzerland. But then that Norway-England game is such a good game. It's such a good game. I'm gonna go with England going through, but I would not be surprised, because Norway, or the team I'm rooting for. Incredible team, incredible Haaland again. He's a bot. He really is a bot. I would sell Celik to Juve for 30 million. Going to try and watch Roma versus Genoa when I visit in October. Hopefully I can get tickets. Well, look, mate. One thing that I will say is this. I'm going to say this to anyone, not just you, but this is also addressed to you if you're still in this video watching. As you know, I won't be in Rome from end of August to January. So I'm gonna be missing the entire part of the season in that chunk. But I'm still gonna get a season ticket. So if anyone is interested in going to a game which falls in that period, for instance, Roma Genoa in October, do send me an email or DM me on Instagram, because I can give you that ticket and I will discount the price. I would give it to you for free, but due to the fact that the season ticket is expensive and that I'll be missing half of the games, I'll probably, I need to kind of re-get in the costs. So I will ask for some money, but it will be discounted and it will definitely be cheaper than what you will find online. So this is a message to everyone out there. If you're interested in any game, if you're in Rome, for instance, in a game in 18th of November, and want one ticket, I only have one ticket because it's just me. But if you're interested, then do send me a DM or an email, and we can debate it. Not debate it, we can do it. Pellegrini renewal, new meetings are expected between the agent and D'Amico. Roma's offer of 2 million that can rise to 2.5 with bonuses. Send Pellegrini away, stop being emotional for players who don't deserve to play for Roma, says Hodi. It's fair to say he's a Roma hero. You also always said that if you would accept a Dybala renewal if he lowered his salary. Did Dybala go to the World Cup? No, he didn't. I've been relaxed for the last 28 years. I'm Romanian, by the way. Mate, I'm coming to Romania in 2 days. I'm going for it with some friends because we found some round tickets for like 40 euros. And we like doing these crazy things of like booking plane tickets and then going and just staying 2 days. We'll be in Bucharest for 2 days, so that'll be fun. That'll be fun, and I'm gonna be a bit. I won't film any videos in these next 2 weeks because I'm going to Romania 2 days, and then I'm actually going on an interrail with some friends. I'll actually be in Paris the day of the final, so I don't like France winning it, but I ain't gonna lie, France winning the World Cup with us being in Paris would be fun, but I don't want France to win it. I want anyone to win it apart from France at the end of the day. And yeah, that's it. I'll catch you soon. Did you win that 1,000 euro? No, I didn't, because Turkey and Uruguay decided to play the worst World Cup I've ever seen. But yeah. What do you think about Kone's value after he probably wins the World Cup? Well, it'll definitely increase. That's for sure. Okay, I'll speak to you soon. I don't know when, but I'll speak to you soon. Stay safe. Hit the like, subscribe, and yeah, I'm looking forward to a next season table prediction. Says Parsod. Brolic says, fucking sweet. Bucharest is great. Try taking the train to Constanta towards the Black Sea. 90 minutes away, literally. I'm actually Romanian, based in Northern Ireland, says Brolic. We'll see. We have no plan. These are things I honestly live for. We literally booked these flights a week ago. We're getting in Bucharest at like 2 a.m. And we have no plan. We're like, fuck it. We're on holiday. Let's go 2 days in Romania. So yeah. Anyways, Forza Roma sempre, and enjoy the World Cup, and I'll talk to you soon. See you out.